drew a deep breath and looked down at their intertwined hands as she spoke. And part of me did it for selfish reasons, so my father would finally see me as something special. She spoke so softly he had to strain to hear her. I prayed that he would be so happy and grateful that I'd saved his other daughter. He'd come back home. Avery bowed her head, her long hair falling over her face at the admission. God, he hurt for her.
You were a kid. All those feelings, they were normal. You were just wishing and hoping for things every child should have. It doesn't change the fact that you were brave then and you were strong afterwards. Like you told me the other day, your entire life shifted because of what your father did. The press coming after you, the panic attacks, the anxiety. You dealt with it all, without him there to support you.
Avery raised her head and met Gray's understanding gaze. You really believe that? She asked.
I do.
He squeezed her hands in reassurance. Avery allowed his words and his belief in her to settle inside her, to warm her up where she'd always been cold, because what she'd just admitted to him now, she'd never told anyone before, not even the therapist that her mother had sent her to. Yes, she'd given bone marrow, but she'd always believed that her motives made her selfish, as though, as an adult, she donated her time to sick kids at the hospital and enjoyed seeing them light up and feel better about themselves. A part of her was trying to atone and make up for those selfish thoughts and needs she'd had as a kid. But here was Gray, telling her that those old childhood feelings had been valid. For the first time, she pushed aside the juvenile view she'd tortured herself with for years and looked at things as an adult, as Gray did. And the heaviness that was always in her chest when she thought of that time, of her father or Sienna, lifted a little. Thank you, Avery said.
It's just the truth, sugar.
He grinned, and she melted inside, the heat of the afternoon sun having nothing on the heat Gray generated inside her. Because she was finally looking at him, and she was instantly aware of more than her own emotions. His tanned, bare chest filled her line of vision, and her pulse began a heavy beat in her veins. Desire kicked in, making itself known in telling ways, her sex filling with need, her breasts suddenly heavy and aching to be touched.
Now let's get back to what changed your mind about staying here with me,
he asked. Oh, that. He cocked an eyebrow.
Yeah, that.
She blew out a deep breath, forcing herself to concentrate on what he needed for a change, and that was answers. They weren't simple, but she owed him the truth. On the one hand, there's the practical consideration. I really do need to stay someplace safe. He nodded.
We all agree on that. But if safe is all you're looking for, across the hall works just fine.
He was right. I know. But after everything that happened with my father at lunch, all I wanted to do was see you. I wanted to talk to you. Her mind had been filled with thoughts of him. I already knew I had to make a decision about where to go, and after talking to my sisters, I realized I'd be deluding myself if I thought I could stay anywhere but with you. She drew a deep breath for courage and said, We click, Gray, and I can't run from that anymore.
Thank fuck,
he muttered, and she couldn't help but grin. I can't promise what the future will bring, she had to add, but I'm here now, and I'm trying to give this thing a shot. It wasn't something she'd consciously decided at lunch, but rather as she'd sat here unloading her burdens, letting him help her ease her pain, she'd understood running away was no longer an option. She needed to try. At Avery's words, Gray's heart pounded hard in his chest. She was baring her soul in a way she'd never done before, because it pertained to them. She was admitting that she was as invested as he was. He hoped. But he also knew his own needs could be setting him up for a hard fall he wasn't prepared to take. He heard what she was saying, but he had to make sure he processed correctly.
We need to be clear, sugar. I want to see where things go for real. Are you on board?